What's going on, guys? My name is Ryan Snaadt, it rhymes with odd, and welcome to another video. This week we're talking about the 10 ways that you can improve your pre-production process to eliminate your nerves and your stress levels on shoot days. So many of us go into shoots and we're kind of nervous or stressed out about certain things, and there's a lot of ways you can avoid that just by handling your pre-production in a serious way. If you like the video at any point, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment down in the comments section if there are things about your pre-production process that you have specific questions on, and I'll make sure to get back to you. With that being said, let's get into the tips. Number one is to charge all of your batteries the day before. I've made this mistake myself where I just forget to charge my batteries and then get out on set and I'm like, oh crap, I've only got one, maybe two charged batteries out of all of them that I have. And if you don't have multiple batteries, make sure to get 6 to 10 extra batteries just in case, so then you have them in your bag and you always have extra power when you're out on location. Along with batteries, make sure that you format your SD cards. I shoot on pretty big cards, so 128 gig is what I usually run with, and that can hold, 4 or 5 projects pretty easily on just the one card. And sometimes it just slips your mind that you forget to format it after 1 or 2 shoots, and then you're kind of limited to what you have. I would recommend using a 128 gigabyte card right out of the gate, and I'll make sure I link up the ones that I use down in the description box below. So once you have a card that can hold a lot more, make sure that you go in the day before the shoot and format the card, but double check before you format everything to make sure that all of your files from other shoots are offloaded onto your drives, you have copies of them, and then you can go in and format it before the shoot so you have clean cards to start everything out. The third tip is to double check all of your gear. Make sure at least the day before the shoot you double check all the gear that you're gonna need. Make sure you have your lights, your mics, your cameras, your lenses, and anything that you're gonna need is put into your bag and in the one position that you need it, so when you're ready to leave and pack up, you don't even have to think about it. It's all in one place. You just pick it up and go. And I always recommend that you bring more than you need, or things that you might think, I probably don't need it. Bring it anyway, because you never know when the situation arises. You'd rather have it on hand and ready to go in your car or in your bag than having it at home, because it's really useless to you at home. Number 4 is to have a shot list. I can't tell you how many times I've went on shoots and just have a general idea of what I'm gonna be shooting that day, but not specific visuals that I need to make sure I capture when I'm on set. And the worst feeling is getting into edit and you're like, oh crap, I needed a second angle of this scene or a different angle of this character or whatever it is. Not having those in post is really, really terrible. So I usually put something in my notes app on my phone that I can just check things off as I go down the shot list and make sure that I have every single shot that I need to have in my edit. Contrary to shot lists, if you're doing like an event, say a conference video or a wedding or something like that, you also want to make sure that you have the actual schedule of the events on your phone as well. A fun little hack that I picked up a couple years ago is to have the itinerary screenshotted and then set that as the lock screen of your phone. So then you don't have to go through your phone and try and find the schedule every second. You can literally just light up your phone with the lock button and you can see the schedule right away, so you can make sure that you're keeping track of yourself and where you need to be. Pro tip right there. The next tip is to confirm the date and time of the shoot with the client the day before or the day of the shoot. This can kind of just, at least one, remind the client, oh yeah, we have a shoot today, because sometimes they forget. But also just kind of keep them top of mind that you're thinking about the shoot ahead of time, you're trying to be as prepared as possible, and people really appreciate that. And if on the off chance that your shoot is canceled or rescheduled, you can get that information the night before or early on in the morning of the shoot day, and you can plan accordingly. My next tip is to bring all of your gear, even if you think you're not gonna need it. I bring pretty much everything that I have on every single shoot, just because you never know when a situation is gonna arise. Even if I think I'm just shooting drone footage for a day, I'm gonna bring all of my camera gear just because maybe a slider shot looks really good, or maybe I need to get a gimbal shot on the ground, or a GoPro shot, or something that you didn't know you're gonna have to have. Making sure that you have the ability to capture it when the situation's happening is so key, and just making sure that you have all the equipment with you so you can make those quick judgments and those quick decisions on the fly. And my next tip, which kind of goes along with bringing everything, is making sure that you have everything organized. Starts with having your camera bag immaculate and knowing exactly where things go. So for my bag, I use this USA Gear one that's really nice, and it's orange on the inside, which is really handy, but I always put my dirty batteries in this slot right here on the top, and then I put my charging cords down here, and all of my fresh batteries are always in the top slot up here. So whenever I need a fresh battery, I just flip this one up, unzip it, pull a new one out, and I'm ready to go with a clean battery. And I'll make sure to link up my USA Gear backpack. I love that thing. It is super handy for me, and it can fit almost all of my gear into it at any given time. But another hack that I like to do with organizing my gear is having everything laid out in the back of my SUV. So I have all of my gear in the very back hatch. I'll open it up and I put down neon orange towels in the back and lay all my gear out on it. And the reason I have neon orange is one, because it's my favorite color, but two, almost all camera gear is black. And if you have a black back of your SUV, a black camera bag, and black equipment, and it's dark, it's really hard to see what you have, and it's easy to lose things and not be able to find what you're looking for right away. So what I like to do is have those orange surfaces on the inside of my bag and in the back of my SUV, so when I'm driving around to location, I can just open up the back hatch, I can grab what I need, shut the door, and I'm ready to go. I started doing this towel trick when I was shooting weddings because I was constantly getting in and out of my car, going from location to location. And there were times that I left charging cables or tripods at different locations, and I had to call the venues the days after and try and track all my stuff down. So it's kind of nice to have your own little internal process, but I really like the orange towel trick and suggest you guys do something similar if you're kind of losing your stuff throughout the day. My next tip is to have a quick review of your contract or your scope of work that you agreed to with the client prior to shooting. A lot of times you'll forget some of the fine details that you worked out in your contract or what they're looking for in the video. So what I like to do is the night before a shoot, go in, look at the contract, and reread through some of those emails that you're having or the phone call notes that you had to make sure that you don't miss any of those fine details. The devil is in the details, especially with videography, and if you can remember things that they were talking about months ago in those conversations, it's really, really easy to blend those in on shoot day and just pick up right off where you left on that conversation. Another tip is to have extra towels or a poncho with you in your vehicle at all times. And yes, the towels are good for the orange backdrop so you don't lose any of your equipment, but I like to have a rain poncho and or just towels to absorb water if things get wet. Because sometimes shoots happen where it's raining or you're getting in and out of your vehicle and there's water going everywhere. So making sure that you have some kind of cloth that you can clean off lenses with, but also just keep your bag dry as well. And the thing that I like about my USA Gear backpack that I use is that it came with a poncho itself. So there's a little pouch that I use that I can open up the poncho, cover my camera bag, and everything stays completely dry. And my final tip is to have mobile charging cords for your vehicle. As you've noticed through some of these tips, I really use my vehicle as kind of my mobile command center. So I always have, my camera gear, my computer, and also charging cables. So I can use the cigarette outlet if I need to charge up extra batteries on shoots, whether it's for my gimbal or for my cameras. And just having like a power strip with an adapter that can go into your cigarette outlet is going to be super handy for you if you do need to charge on the go. Okay, those are all my pre-production tips, so hopefully you guys got something out of this video. If you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and if you have some other tips for folks that you do when you're kind of doing pre-production and preparing for a shoot, make sure to drop those in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure to get back to you guys and check out your YouTube channels as well to make sure that we're building some more community here. If you got some value out of this, make sure to go check out my free 1-hour business training for the 9 biggest mistakes of solo videography. It is about a 55-minute free training that you can check out. I'll put a description box link down below that you can check it out. It's free to register, but I share more of the tips on the business side of how to run your own solo videography business. So hopefully that training helps you guys out and you can get some value out of that as well. That about does it for me, guys. My name is Ryan Snaadt. It rhymes with odd, and we'll see you in next week's video. Peace.